What is happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. You have been warned. You did know a week ahead of time that Kat Comic Uno is not going to be here. And we warned you that, please don't abandon us when she's not here, right? We're just a couple two dudes that are going to be talking about comic books, and that's what it's going to be. Okay. So hopefully you'll like our show. We're going to do all the same stuff. And of course, I got Brant Fowler with me today. So say hi, Brant.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
There it is. So we want to welcome
It'll be
everybody
fun.
on the show that's here so far. We have Get the Key Comic. We'll have Alfred's here. We have the Neighborhood Merc, the Black Knight. Of course, Tevia's here. Couching and Slouching with Steve Bissell. I love that name. It's so funny. And then KG Comics. We got the XForce team announced. Yeah, we do. I actually found that. This was a very hard, I felt like tough news week to put a name on this episode. And I found this news that dropped, I guess it was today. There was a few other like little teasers on the X-Men stuff itself, like on what the stories was about, just briefly. And we'll talk about that maybe later on. But then the X-Force team was announced. So we will definitely touch on that for sure. That will be the last news piece we talk about. But we have a few other news pieces, and Brant's going to do the news today since Kat is not on. I think she had a con right this week. Brant, is that what it was?
I think so. I was trying to remember what it was, but probably.
That was last week. That was so long.
She's very busy.
Yeah, exactly. So go take it away, Brant. Let's do this news.
Yeah, let's do it. So, we've only got like 5 news pieces, including our main topic this week. So it's crazy. The first one, I'm just going to get this out of the way, the media, because I marked it and I just wanted to make a small comment on it. But they announced the Silver Surfer actress that's going to be in the MCU film, that it's going to be a female Silver Surfer played by, I can't remember her name, but she was in Ozark and another Netflix show, Julia Garner. And the reason I wanted to mention this was because I found out she's not playing Norrin Rad, like a female version of Norrin Rad. She's playing Norrin Rad's lover. So I guess in this version, she becomes Silver Surfer instead of him.
Oh, weird.
What it's going to be. Yeah. So I wanted to clarify that, because I think a lot of people are seeing this and being like, oh, they're, just turning Silver Surfer female. But no, they just went a different direction for the movie, which I think is pretty neat, because it's something we haven't seen before.
So that's why I think Silver Surfer, like the male, will be in it.
I don't know, because as far as I understand, she's still going to be Silver Surfer and still be a Herald of Galactus and all that stuff. I don't know. I know she's a good actress. She was really good in Ozark. That was a good show, and she played a really good character. And I've seen her in a couple other things, so she's got the acting chops. But I don't know. I don't know what direction they're going to go with it. But I kind of like that, because we've already seen the Norrin Rad version of Silver Surfer on the screen. So do something different. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I guess that's really cool. I only heard about this news like briefly, and I was kind of confused about it myself too. I was just like, it's definitely a different spin on it, So I think, could be interesting. Definitely. I don't know too much about the actress. I don't watch an overabundance of TV, so I never saw Ozark. I did hear it was good, so hopefully it turns out for the good. I guess because we're building up to all this Fantastic Four stuff, right? So I guess that's why we're gonna have it.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, whatever they can do to differentiate it from what we've already seen, I'm on board with it. Because, I think a lot of people were kind of unhappy with how that whole Silver Surfer Galactus thing went in the first place. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The cloud, is that what it was?
You never saw just a big gigantic crowd. They're like, yeah, we don't have the budget for this, and we don't know how to really CGI him. So, I thought they did a pretty good job with the way Silver Surfer looked.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean Doug Jones, yeah, really good character actor and played a good Silver Surfer, I thought as well. So
Right.
I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm more of the mind of that. Just wait and see what happens with it, and
Hmm.
not prejudge it and stuff because you never
Exactly.
know.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the next one. Dynamite has picked up another license. They're heavy in that license game these days. This one, this time it's Terminator, the Terminator franchise, which we haven't seen in a bit. So that's interesting. And oh, bug just flew right in front of my face. I got a gnat in here. Sorry. But anyway, yeah. So if you are missing your Terminator fix in the world of comics, you're about to get it via Dynamite. Who is what are the franchises they got right now? They got Thundercats.
Yep.
Um, God, I'm totally like obviously the Red Sonja and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Army of
Um,
Darkness, Vampirella,
yeah, the
Elvira.
Disney stuff. Yeah, the
Yep.
Disney
All the
stuff as
Disney
well.
stuff. Yep. I mean, they literally have Thundercats now. So I mean, they have a lot of stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
Terminator's cool. I think they said they're gonna re-release like the old stuff and then have new stuff on top of it. So I think that could be cool. You just
yeah,
you just need a really good artist on this stuff. Like they got some cool properties, and it's just like I know people are disappointed with like the interior art of the comics. Like they have about 20,000 different variant covers, and the variant covers look great, but the interior art lacks. So it's just like spend some money on getting a really good interior artist, because think about it. If you're going to do Terminator, you need Terminator really done right, because the amount of detail that goes into that character is amazing. Because that's what I say about Iron Man. Like Iron Man's got to be drawn well, you know? So
yeah.
it's a robot, cyborg. You gotta do it
Right.
right, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I've seen some Terminator comics that weren't the art wasn't what I would have chosen for the book. So I
Right.
definitely want to see that focus on the angles and stuff like that that you would see in a robotic form for sure.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
this is celebrating the 40th anniversary of the first film, and yeah, it does say they're going to release the old stuff in multiple formats and different ways and stuff. So that's
It
cool.
was it was funny because I think I was going through this drive and this news piece was on there, and I had Terminator 2 on it was like Saturday or something like that. So
Yeah,
I was watching it.
that is funny. That's too funny. That I love it when that kind of stuff happens though, because you're just like you feel like everything is just like converging on this one thing. It's just a coincidence, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
exactly. It's just weird.
yeah, yeah. All right, so moving on, let's talk about DC. Head over to DC with some Dark Knights news. Dark Knights is still all winter, as some new details have come out about this. This is obviously the follow up to that 12 issue maxi series. Um, which is was Tom Taylor's project, which we all loved here on this show.
This is like
So
more of
I
a like a Deathstroke story type of deal.
yeah, yeah. So that's though anything that's told in this world, I'm down for.
Yeah.
It could be cool because I was wondering how they would continue it because it definitely left things open to where they could continue telling stories in that world. But we had no idea like what was coming or what kind of stories they would tell. So I think it could be really interesting to see a Deathstroke story in that world, though,
Mhm.
because
Yeah, and it's taking place during like a frozen age or something like
right,
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, which is kind of like they're going Game of Thrones with it, right? Winter is coming.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's gonna be cool. I mean, listen, if you gotta do certain things to spice up the normal everyday world, it's okay for me as long as it's written right, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, Deathstroke is kind of a character that we've seen different versions of him in like Elseworld stuff or different realities and different things like that. And he's just this kind of character that he could fit any kind of story. I think.
yeah,
He's an assassin, right? He's a
right.
mercenary.
Yeah.
So it just it fits. It
So
works.
now he can be
I'm
an
excited for it.
assassin in this medieval time during winter time, and and he's more
Yeah.
it's like it's almost like it takes place like a Red Sonja or a Conan or something like that,
Right. And have you seen the art in this? This is freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, I did when I was looking at the article. Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
really good.
I'm gonna share a little bit of it. Let's see. Because this is really beautiful art. Let me see if I can zoom in.
Yeah, black and white right now, but still,
Yeah,
it looks really good.
I'll show one more page because it's actually even better, I think. What is it? No. Maybe it's that one. I don't know. Open too many. No, that's not the one I was going to share. But oh, there's an ad popping up there. Go away. But just some really epic art in this. It's really cool.
Yeah, look at the facial expression there, man. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, there's this one page I can't find it, but there's like this battle going on, and it's a close up of like this warrior swinging back his axe. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I like
anyway.
That's what kind of, so like when I read the story like on that article and then I saw that artwork, I'm like, yeah, this definitely has potential to be something good.
Yeah, for sure. And I like it's going to give a different vibe. It's still in that world, but it's a completely different kind of story.
Yeah.
So,
yep,
that's cool. Do you know if I didn't catch? I already closed it, but did you catch if Tom Taylor is writing it or is somebody else writing it now? Or?
No, I don't know. I don't know if he's writing this one.
Yeah, I'll open it up in a second and try to see if I can find it. But let's move on to the next story, which is David Marquez shares some rogue designs for the Uncanny X-Men launch, and I'll screen share that as well.
Yeah, I mean, the sketch, they're like little legit sketches. I mean,
right?
It's not
much to go on
detail, but so when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, like everything is very similar, right? And then it's like, then you go to like, she has a jacket that has a hoodie, and then she has her outfit that has a hoodie. I'm like, what the heck,
Right. Yeah, it's like you need double hoodies going on here now.
Right.
But I mean, they're not bad though. It's very familiar, right? It's not a big change.
Yeah,
but
it's like
Rogue's costume changes.
It's like, can you find the differences between the costumes? Like, so the first one on the left, it's like exactly the same to the one on the right, except her chest, the collar, flaps over, right,
exactly.
And then the next set, right, you have the jacket, which again, the only difference is the hoodie there. So that's really about it that I notice anyway.
Yeah,
right.
That's all I can see.
That's all I can see right now. I don't see the other ones.
Yeah, I've seen if they had anything.
Oh, there's the smaller ones. Yeah. And then you got the brown jacket that has a hoodie, and then it has long sleeves. So I don't know. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it. It's very familiar. It's not rewriting the story here, but I mean, it's decent. What do you all think in the comments? Let us know. What do you think?
I feel like it's almost like you're trying to do too much with such a simplistic costume.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to the Dark Knights thing, I don't think he's writing. It says Jay Kristoff makes his DC series debut, so I assume that Jay Kristoff is writing this.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. We'll have to see if somebody else can follow in Taylor's shoes on that.
Yeah, I think he could. I think so. I think Tom Taylor's got enough right now as it is. So it's like, look how long it took for him to do like the Knights of Steel series. Like it took once it got to issue 6, it like took forever to finish it up.
Yeah. All right. And so that brings us to our main topic and our last news story, which is the new roster for the X-Force title coming up in July, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
I will screen share that cover image. Doing a lot of screen sharing. There it is. See if I can zoom in on that. All right, so here we go. From the ashes, a new beginning. Sorry, something popped up on my screen. All right, so right off, obviously Deadpool. we got Deadpool.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't have X-Force without Deadpool these days, right? I'm trying to find it in the article. So some of these people I recognize. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, it says Forge.
You want to go for it? Yeah.
Right. Forge is the I guess going to be the leader. Rachel Summers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over there on the left.
So you got her there. Yep. And then you got Betsy Braddock, who's in the red sunglasses. Oh, no, on the right.
Yeah.
Right?
Over
or
here.
on the left.
With the purple hair.
The purple hair, right?
I think it's the purple hair. But
yeah.
You know.
And then you have Sage, who is the glasses.
Yeah.
Right yeah. There. So Surge, is that the red dude?
Or that might be, is that the speed girl? Is that her down here?
Oh, maybe.
From X-Men Academy.
Her.
I think she was in X-Men Academy or something way back.
Was she?
I think so. Who's the last person? And maybe that'll tell us.
Tank is the dude on the top.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's got to be Surge down here.
Okay.
She had like these gauntlets at one point to control her speed because it was like hurting her somehow to use her speed, and I
remember that from Avengers Academy. I just don't remember that.
It was a long time ago. It feels like a long time ago. But yeah, I think it's a solid team.
But though, it doesn't say that Deadpool is on the team, though.
It doesn't. Yeah,
it doesn't say it.
He's just there.
He's on this cover, right? And it says that the handpicked team of mutants in off the books missions are so dire, so integral to the fate of the Marvel universe. There's no time to stop for permission. Plus, as Forge detects increasing threats across the planet, he'll recruit specialists for each target. It's a revolving door of Marvel guest stars, and first up, that regenerating degenerate Deadpool. So he's not on the team officially. He's just a guest star.
Yeah, which is not a bad move, really, because they're going to, like you said, rotate people in and out of this. So if they keep putting popular, X-Men characters in the book, that could fare well for it.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's like you get that one special guest star. Like,
maybe so.
Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, it is interesting. Let's see. The creative team for this is Jeffrey Thorne is the writer. Marcus Toe is the artist who did a lot of like Aspen stuff previously. And that cover is by Steven Segovia. So that's your creative team on this.
Who is Tank?
I have no idea.
Like, where's that guy?
No idea. I don't know.
Anybody in the comments, let us know who this dude is. Is he new?
Yeah. I don't remember this guy at all. That's funny. Yeah, I have no idea. The rest of them, yeah, I know who they are. But this guy, no clue.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think about the roster, Mike?
Okay, so when it comes to the roster and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I love Forge as a leader. I think that's a cool idea. I'm not used to seeing like Cable as the leader of an X-Force team, but still, I mean, we've seen that before, right? So Forge is cool. If Deadpool was a regular, I would think that would be super cool. And he's not. Yeah. So Rachel's cool. Sage, like, I think she looks cool, but I don't really have any attachment to her,
Yeah.
Psylocke is cool. Surge, like, I don't care about you. And I just need to know who the fuck Tank is. Like, that guy's driving me crazy. Like, is he like Colossus and we don't know it? Like, who is he? You're right,
Yeah. I don't know.
Is that the Kool-Aid man? Oh, yeah.
Funny comment.
What do you like? Who's your favorite on this?
I always like seeing more Rachel. I don't think like a lot of these characters don't get a lot of screen time, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
Forge, I really like because I think when you look at the Krakoan Age, of the characters that kind of stood out through that story, Forge
he
was one
was.
of them because he was
Yeah,
creating all those weapons and stuff.
yeah,
And so, I kind of like to see him, taking the forefront here. I again, Rachel and Braddock, I like them both as characters. And now that we know that they're together, that we found out last week, live on the show,
yeah. It makes
it'll
sense.
be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll get them together. Sage, I could take her leave. She, I don't know. She hasn't been relevant for a long time for me.
right.
Um, I like Surge as a character when she's involved in a story. Like usually she's just a background character, but when I remember, I think it was X-Men Academy when she was in that book or wherever I remember her from. I remember liking the character at that point. So yeah, if they can do something different with her and kind of show some growth for the character, I'm all in for that. This tank guy, I have no idea who the heck it is. So
I mean, it's pretty much a all-female team.
well, yeah, that's true.
If
With Forge
you,
and Tank, yeah,
yeah. Besides, yeah. I mean, because if you don't count Deadpool because he's not a regular,
right,
right? So it's
yeah.
pretty much a female team here, led by Forge and
That's
Tank.
interesting too, because both Rachel and Braddock have led teams in the past, so they're
Right.
former leaders. So it's
And
going to
we
be
assume
interesting to
that
see.
Tank is a man. We don't know. Maybe he's a female.
That's true. Yeah, we'll have to see it like if there's a power struggle or any ill feelings and all that kind of stuff because you get very strong personalities.
Look to see if you can look him up real quick, Brant, and see if
Yeah.
or she or whatever if that mutant exists.
Let's see. Tank does exist. Oh, screen scrolled on me. Tank had been observing Miles Morales for at least 30 days due to firm giving off a faint quantum signal. I don't know what the heck this is. This is some kind of interdimensional stuff. Tank was confronted by Spider-Man and Ironheart at some point. I don't remember any of this. I'll show you what he used to look like because he doesn't look anything like that now. Let's see. Screen share it. See if you recognize him this way. That's what he used to look like. I can't make that go away, but
No,
I don't remember this character at all.
I don't either. KG Comics says Tank is like an Ant-Man meets Nightcrawler, I think.
Okay. So is it teleporting shrink and grow person? Stealth molecular manipulation, size alteration, superhuman strength, superhuman durability, and superhuman stamina and teleportation. So yes, that's exactly what he is.
This is funny to me because I was like, of all the X-Men out there in the planet, we picked this fucking guy. Right? Like,
that's hilarious. Yeah.
I don't know.
And like this one guy, neither one of us can remember for the life of us, even though he's clearly been in stories featuring characters that we've read a lot.
Right? I know.
This is funny.
Yeah, I would say, him, Surge, because I can't remember, and Sage are my least favorite there. So I like half the team, at least half. I really wish Deadpool would be in it more.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if you get former X-Force team. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cable here, Bishop in this book, who is it? Hope. You probably see her in here also. Like I think you probably see quite a few different people, flipping through here on and off.
That's what Surge used to look like. Does that ring any bells?
It's been a long time, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Like, what has she been in since literally Avengers Academy then? Do you
That's a good
know?
question. I know she's popped up here and there. Let's see. She was in Schism and Regenesis, Avengers versus X-Men.
That's a
Uh,
long time too.
yeah, X-Men Disassembled, Utopia, Messiah Complex, Decimation. She was in all the big events.
She's all in this stuff that's old.
Yeah,
So she
I
she
thought
probably hasn't been in anything in the Krakoan age then.
if she has, it's been like as a very like kind of background character. I don't
Right.
even. I'm trying to. I don't see anything about like currently or recently.
No, Hunter says wasn't she in Bishop War College?
I didn't read that. I dropped that after one issue,
I
so I
did
don't know.
too. I did not like it, so I
Yeah,
wouldn't remember or know.
yeah, she may have been. So I don't know, but overall, I'm going to be optimistic about it. I think it's a solid team overall. Sage is going to be. She's typically like behind the scenes, kind of Oracle like.
Yeah, that's what I
You
mean.
know,
Like, what is she gonna do? Is
yeah,
that what she's gonna do in this book too? Like, so I don't know.
yeah,
We'll see.
but that's
That's cool. I'm happy though that we got the review of this team. We're gonna find out more on the other books.
yeah,
They gave a little description on the Jean Grey book, that Jean or the Phoenix book. Jean Grey
hmm
is definitely going to be in that book. It's confirmed now.
cool, yeah. I couldn't see
So
how they could do it without her, but yeah,
right, and
but
the
good to have that
NYX
confirmation.
book is going to
Yeah.
have at least 5 people in that one.
Oh, nice.
So we'll see what happens there. So I'm sure we're
Yeah.
going to get the details of that throughout the week as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. So they'll be on our news for next week, probably.
All right. So in the comments below, Silent Smurf says, "I'll get this just because Tank looks cool."
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey.
So in the comments, do you guys like this roster? Do you want to see another roster? Let us know, and we'll try to answer it as the show goes on. But that was our big news piece, which I feel like it's cool to find out what's going to be on a team, but it wasn't like this huge like jaw-dropping news, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slow news week this week,
Right.
but it's still fun to talk about. So
That Joker trailer dropped today too.
did it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
All right.
It
doesn't like
it's all right.
it doesn't like get me super excited going, "Oh my god, I don't know."
Yeah.
But some people might really like it. There's a scene in there that pays homage to a comic book.
Okay.
That you see in the trailer, them dancing.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah. So that
Speaking
was
of speaking of homages, have you finished Invincible season 2 yet?
I have 2 episodes left.
Okay. I just watched those recently, so I won't spoil it then. I will say the last episode has kind of a version of a character that we on this show are big fans of, so that was kind of fun.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
got 2 episodes
yeah,
left.
and I'm sure you've noticed like they've been like shattering away the Invincible logo every episode. A little bit more of that blue and black one is showing through. I think they're definitely leading towards that for season 3.
Oh, okay.
Change or whatever. That's what I'm kind of guessing. So based on how it ended, but something big happens in the last episode, and I'll just.
Oh, cool. I was we watched the 1 episode, and then I decided that I wanted to watch Logan with my son because believe it or not, I never saw it before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never saw it. I own it on Blu-ray. I just never watched it, never got around to doing it. And then we watched it, and I was like, man, this is like the best freaking X movie I ever watched. It's so good.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It was really good. I wish they could have continued that one with X-23 and all that stuff.
Oh, my God, yeah. Well, maybe
fun.
she'll be in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, so maybe we'll see.
Maybe.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be fun. Yeah, for sure. All right.
All
so
right,
before
Go ahead.
Before we get into the comics, I don't have any Kickstarters, so I won't promote that. But I will say that I am returning to comic conventions starting this month. It's been the first time since like 2018 that I've been at a comic convention, so it's crazy. But we've already got 3 confirmed. We've got 3 we're on the waiting list, 2 this year, 1 next year. So we're mostly in Texas right now, but I think it's called Central Texas Comic Con in Waco is the one at the end of this month, last weekend of this month. So if you're in the area, come see me. I'll be at the Last Number Press booth. We have like a vendor. All Artist Alley was sold out, so we got a vendor booth. So we'll be in the vendor area, 10 by 10 booth. Come check us out. And then after that, I will be at what is the next one? Corpus Christi. Comic Con is in July. And then I think I have one in June too, in somewhere.
Somewhere.
God, I can't remember. Let's see. I'm on the waiting list for Belton. I'm on the waiting list for Austin. So what is the other city that I'm gonna be at? And I can't. Oh, it's in San Antonio. Jeez, it's in San Antonio. It's Superhero Comic Con in San Antonio in June. I'll be at that one. We'll also have a booth at that one.
So you wound up getting on the waiting list for MegaCon too, right?
Yeah, I'm on the waiting list for MegaCon. They were already sold out, but we are on the waiting list for a vendor booth, I believe. So if we do make it, we'll be in. It might be Artist Out. I can't remember. I'm getting them all jumbled.
Right.
But we'll be there, hopefully, if they have a spot for us. But we are on the waiting list, so if anything opens up, hopefully I will get to meet you in person finally, Mike, next year.
The last time Kat was there, and I was there, and you were supposed to be there,
right?
And you couldn't make it, so we were trying to push your books, and and then we were doing Cats at the time, like father, like daughter, and
right.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a good time. It's so funny, like how long I knew Kat, and then seeing her in person, it was just weird.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's
gonna be weird too, because I can't wait to meet you guys because I'm so much taller than you guys. So it's gonna be funny because I always look so short on these videos the way my camera's set.
Yeah, because you're so you're at towards the bottom. We only just see your neck.
Yeah.
And me, it looks like I would be like 7 feet tall, and I'm like probably 5'6.5", maybe, and that's about it.
Yeah, I always thought you were taller until I saw a video of the spider prank that your kids played.
Yeah,
you remember in the lamp? When I saw that video, I was like, "Oh man, he's short." Wow, I never knew. It's funny. I used to be 6 foot, but ever since like my back problems, I'm like 5'11" now because
really?
I got three slip discs. So occasionally I'll even be shorter than that.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
When it first started, I would constantly drop between 6 foot and 5'11", but now I think I'm pretty much set at 5'11", but sometimes I'm 5'10". So weird. Anyway, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That time, I can't wait for that time to actually happen. That will be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
With that said, let's get into those comics.
Yeah, let's do that. So let me get to the drive here.
Wrong banner. There we go. Right banner.
All right. Big books for the week. Right. We're going to kick it off with mine and Brant's one of our favorites. We got Void Rivals issue 8. Solila and Zorak. Is that how you say his name? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. I'm getting better at remembering. Their names are hard to remember. Are fighting against Proximus in this comic. That's the hunter's name. And it looks like Solila and Proximus had a history with each other because there was this flashback in the beginning. So we're just scratching the surface when it comes to all of these characters here. And you just get to see with this one epic battle, and the ending, you're just kind of like, oh shit, man. Like she just got stabbed and it looked rough. There wasn't a lot of huge dialogue. It's a huge action issue, but if you love action, you're going to love this book. And I love how this book just doesn't rely on the Transformers. The Transformers were there to kick things off. And if you don't have a Transformer in this book for a few issues, that's okay, man. This book is still really, really good.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you can hear it, but like it just started pouring
Oh, did it
so much
really?
rain. Yeah, just instantly. Anyway, yeah, Void Rivals, always a good book. I love this book. Love the entire Energon universe. You're right though. It wasn't a whole lot of dialogue, but the action was like serious and dire and all. Man, that just dang. My window's like right there, so it's just like pounding on my ear. But it scared me a little bit. No, I'm kidding. But no, it was a good issue. I cannot wait to like find out more about like the lore of these two planets and stuff. We're just like kind of inching towards all of it, and it's like classic Kirkman. It's like leaving you wanting more. At the
Yeah.
same time, sometimes it's starting to get to that dragging point a little bit. It's like, oh, but I want to know. But
Yeah.
it's good. It's like some of his stuff it loses you, but this is one of those that just kind of grabs hold of you. If you're invested in these characters, just I don't know, there's something about it that is just kind of a special. And it's not just the Transformers connection or whatever. I think he's telling a really good story with these two characters and their kind of warring planets. So I don't know, I enjoy it.
I
Like
do
it.
too. Well, that's what he's really good at. He's really good
Yeah,
at character development, and
right.
you see characters from the beginning point, and then as the series goes, you see them develop, and they're much different characters by the time they get to the end. So,
Yeah,
I mean, he's done it so many times. Like we watched it
yeah.
we read it in Walking Dead, we read it in Invincible. He's had other books, even in Firepower, like when you get
Hmm.
to see Owen from the very beginning to the point to where he got to at the end. I mean, there was a lot there. So there's
Yeah.
so many books. I know a lot of people like the Oblivion Song, and just like there's a lot of stuff there that he really knows how to do some characters very well. We got a
Yeah.
comment here. System Soundbar says this. I guess this is his team: Forge,
Yeah.
Longshot, Thunderbird, Cannonball, Strong Guy. That would have been cool to see Strong Guy.
Yeah.
Dazzler is a good for X-Force. Yeah,
I'm kind of low key hoping Strong Guy gets on a X Factor. Kind of a callback.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
I would think you would have to see either him or Polaris, or maybe Polaris and Havoc on there or something. But
Yeah.
Havoc's a little sidekick now to Madeline Pryor, so I don't know if we're gonna see him on a team.
Yeah. I would love to see him on a team. I really like Havoc. I don't like him being like this little puppy dog
I
to
know.
Madeline, but yeah. What are you gonna do? That's an
Exactly.
interesting team though. Is Thunderbird even still alive? I don't
I don't
know what his status is.
He
I don't
was
even
like
know
in a
Cannonball's
one
alive.
shot like a year or two ago.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
That's all
That's
I've
crazy.
really seen him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about Batman issue 146. What did you think about this one?
Ah, I am already over this story, and that sucks because I really like the first part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's just something about it that I'm done with this Zurin R stuff. I can't stand that whole thing, and the fact that Damien can't tell that this is not his
Yeah.
dad and all that stuff. It's just taking too long to get to the point where he breaks out of it, and I guess that's the point. It's like got to be a struggle. I don't know. I'm not enjoying it as much as I want to. I guess.
Right. So I didn't dislike this book. Like I liked
Yeah.
it. Right. Like I
Yeah.
think the artwork is gorgeous. I think it's a decent story,
Hmm.
but how naive can the Bat family be?
Right.
Right? Like same with Superman. He's just kind of like, well, because you didn't kill anybody means that you must be Bruce Wayne then.
Yeah.
Right? That's
It's
how
like
they are.
I mean, as many times as Batman's died, you'd think they know something was up or something was different. That he would, there'd be like, I don't know, that they'd look for him more. Like, okay, the last time he like went missing, which wasn't that long ago, Tim Drake was like going crazy, time jumping, all this stuff, trying to could not let it go, and now he's just like, it could be him. We're
Yeah.
cool. It's
And
like what?
Damien's like, he sees like Batman being like super violent, right? And he's just like,
About time.
hmm. He's like questioning it. And then like again, Superman at the end is just like, and then Flash is like, well, maybe, it's probably Bruce. He's not, he's just trying to finally do what he's wanted to do all this time. And it's just like,
Yeah.
because they're kind of like, well, we don't know where Bruce is, so it's got to be him. Well, where did his
Yeah.
body go? Don't you think he
Right.
would tell if it was him? Do you think he would not tell his friends where his body actually is? It
Yeah.
was not mentioned in the comic, was it? Like what his
No.
excuse is?
No, I don't remember exactly what he said, but I don't think so.
And
I
then
think
they
it
see
was
him on
just
TV at the end, right?
did they see him on
Yeah,
TV?
I
I might
think
have missed
so. They
that.
were mentioning there was like an explosion and there happens to be Bruce Wayne there or something. And they're kind of like
Oh.
stupid and they're like, who is this guy in there? Is that true?
Oh man. Yeah.
So
I,
that's what
all
bothers
right.
me about it. It's just they're very
Yeah.
naive.
So what do you think about them kind of retconning the reason for being with the Joker and Batman, that they were basically created by this guy as an experiment?
That's
I
stupid.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really like that.
All that doesn't need to exist. That really
Yeah.
doesn't. Any like I don't think Bat or Joker and Batman need to be connected from a past at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Just when they came into contact in Gotham and became, yeah, I don't need it. I don't think it needs to go back further than that. I agree.
Yeah. It just
So,
needs to exist as he was just a villain. And this is his arch nemesis. Why does he
yeah.
have to be connected to someone that Batman is connected to? That's freaking
Right.
stupid. That's too much of a coincidence in my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're trying to connect dots that don't need to be connected at all.
Right.
I don't agree with it. It's, every writer's going to try to leave their stamp on it. And this is that thing,
Right.
and I get it. I get it. But as a fan, I don't have to like it. So
Yeah, I
I don't
know.
like it.
And the Zur and
But
R
yeah.
story, like you said,
Yeah.
it's I don't want Chip Zdarsky's run to be this whole this is it, right? And it
Right.
seems like it is. It doesn't seem like he has anything else. And when he's done writing this story, this is when he's done. And I don't like that for Batman. This is why I didn't like Tom King's run either. It was just too drawn out, you know?
Yeah. I mean, maybe Chip Zdarsky's like this huge, massive fan of Zur and R, and that's why he wanted to tell this story. I don't know, but I'm not. So I'm over that part of it, and I do like the idea of Bruce being um, caught in prison and having to escape to prove that this imposter isn't dead. I get that. That's a
Yeah.
story that you can relate to. We've
Yeah.
seen before. That's a good story. It's a decent story. It's just all this other extra stuff around it that I'm just not enjoying as
But
much.
what Chip Zdarsky's lacking in this series is, and I think he's a great writer.
Yeah,
It's just for some reason Batman's not hitting it for me, like say some of his other stuff, right? So,
yeah, Daredevil.
um, but my thing is like there's no character development. There's no Bruce Wayne development. He's just stuck in this limbo in a
Yeah,
prison and supposedly he's in this robot and nothing else around him in his world is progressing in Batman's world. And you don't see any other villains, right? You finally got to see Punchline and Harley in
yeah,
this book, but they
right.
didn't really have a huge significant role. But it was the
No,
first time since Chip has written that you've gotten to see other characters in here, like villain
yeah,
wise.
right. I
Well,
think
in the
Harley had,
Joker.
yeah, I think Harley had one or two pages. Punchline had two panels. That
Yeah,
was it. Yeah, but it was nice to see them both at least. Yeah,
that's true. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. All
yeah.
right. Let me get a bottle of water. I'm just gonna get start talking about Deadpool now.
Yeah, so Deadpool issue 1. This is written by Cody Ziegler, who also writes Miles Morales and Spider Punk currently. Um, and I actually like this book. I thought it was I thought it was just the right balance of like your classic breaking the fourth wall kind of Deadpool crazy nonsense and like the kind of storytelling that I'm used to in Miles. So I thought it was I thought it was a decent first issue. I think with any Deadpool story, you have that fear that it's going to get away from it and it's going to become too goofy nonsense eventually. But at least with this issue, I didn't think it was too over the top with that. So I enjoyed that. I'm trying to remember what exactly happened in the story. Oh yeah, he created like his own group. Like somebody approached him to join a group, and he was like, "No, I'm going to do my own thing." And he's like creating a new Deadpool core or whatever.
So it was
Yeah,
like Agent Guile from like
yeah,
Miles
from Miles.
Morales
Yeah,
series. Yeah.
yeah,
So I like the connection there between the two
hmm
books. Um,
yeah,
I thought art was nice. And what I
yeah,
liked about this one compared to other ones, like Deadpool tends to be like so over the top to where he's just annoying in the comic. And I think what reeled that in a little bit was his symbiotic dog,
yeah,
because now he has somebody to talk to and he talks to that thing. And I like the interactions between him and the dog. I like how he calls her or him Papa, and
yeah,
I think it's cute. Um, and then I like how he was like going through the pages and he's like, man, this artist has got a tough time to
yeah,
draw these two pages.
yeah,
Um, and so I thought that was kind of cool. Then they come across this new villain that I don't think we've seen before. My thing was his regeneration process happened way too quickly.
yeah. I do agree with that. Yeah, because he lost like his legs or something, right? And they just like
His,
grew it back like by the next page.
his hand and his legs.
Yeah, yeah, they got cut off in the yeah, and then he got cut off with the portal or whatever. Yeah, yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, oh man, I know it's fast, but come on, that's a little too
Yeah,
fast.
not that
You should
fast.
suffer a little bit. Yeah, it's like man, Wolverine don't even grow back that fast. Come on.
Yep. But it was fun.
So
I
yeah,
liked it.
yeah, I did too, and I was pleasantly surprised. Like I was kind of positive going in because I like Ziegler's writing, but at the same time, is like it's Deadpool, so
Yeah.
you know what you get with the Deadpool book, and it just always gives me a little hesitancy. But again, I think it had the perfect balance, at least in this issue. So hopefully that continues, and if we get more connections with Miles or Spider Punk or anything, that Ziegler is associated with, I'm all for that too.
Right.
So
And he's playing off of Alyssa Wong's last series
yeah,
a little
right.
bit. And
References the love story between those two. Yeah,
right. And then that's how he got the symbiotic dog. And
right.
the daughter, though, I didn't even realize he had a daughter.
I didn't either. That caught me by surprise too. I'm like, where does she come from? That must
Right.
be one of those that we skipped.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, exactly. Because I don't read that much Deadpool. So
no,
a nice surprise. And hopefully it does keep up and that it doesn't get crazy. But
yeah,
you know, I like it's probably I really like the last volume, first issue of Deadpool, and then I fell off of that one. So
yeah,
it got too weird for me. And
right,
you know, Poison Ivy wannabe and stuff like that. So it was just
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
All right. So then let's go on to our number 5 book. What was your number 5?
Mine was actually Avengers issue 12. So Avengers entered the fray with the Krakoan stuff, and the reason I like this issue was because one, it was a departure from all that other stuff, teams battling teams, all that stuff that we've been
Yeah.
getting.
Yep.
But it was also like the systematic takedown of Orcus was just beautiful to watch, and like how they couldn't keep up with him, and they had like this perfect plan timed to a T. It was like clockwork, and it was beautiful. I enjoyed the journey of that whole mission, taking off without a hitch and everything. So
Tony
had a
Stark
lot of
was
fun.
like, it's time to go now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like
but
they plan for every contingency. Yeah.
right, but then what
At
happened
the
is
end,
they
yeah.
didn't plan on getting attacked.
Right
So
at the Impossible City. Yeah.
right. So they didn't even think about that. And fucking 3D Man was in there. I'm like,
What the
3D
heck?
Man?
Yeah. It's like I haven't seen him since, man, I don't even remember. It's been a long time. Like, wasn't he going by like triathlon or something when he was on the Avengers? Or
I don't even know. Like, I didn't
I don't
even
know.
tell you when the last time that guy was around.
Uh,
When
but I
MODOK was
like
in this
that.
book.
Yeah, I like 3D Man though because it made him kind of cool because he could see like all these and it like reference like scroll invasion and all this other stuff that's going on. It's like I call it all this because I can see all these possibilities and everything. I was like, man, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Why don't we know more about this guy if he can do all
Right.
this?
But
Yeah,
it was a good book. I think this was like the best issue that Jed McKay wrote for Avengers since that very first issue, in my opinion.
yeah, I agree. So yeah,
it's like people work together. The whole team was on there. It wasn't always just two people in pairs. So it was good,
And you still got some like character stuff, like when I forget who referred to them as the Secret Avengers, and then they were like, "Don't call us that." It's just like
I remember that.
little stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep. All right, cool. That's a good pick. Mine was actually Deadpool was my number 5.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
It was battling between one other book too, and I can't remember what it was now because I picked these books yesterday. But I remember I was battling between. I think it was Redcoat, and we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about Spider-Man: Shadow of the Green Goblin. This is issue 1.
I think Tebby asked us about that earlier in the chat.
Yeah.
So
This was a really good book.
It was, surprisingly. I did not expect anything from this. So,
yeah.
But go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say this is like. So remember how I was talking about Jackpot, how you go through the trials and tribulations of being a hero, right?
Yep.
And we talked about that also in Ultimate Spider-Man, and this happens again here.
Oh my goodness. So
right?
good.
And so and in Jackpot, you never see that. And that's what's missing from that book. That's what you need to make Mary Jane a hero. And here, this was Peter struggling to be a hero. And it was so good that way.
Like when realizing that he hurt that guy so bad and then he's about to hurt somebody else and like pulling his punches and stuff like that. That was just, and it was just like this small little moment, a few panels, but it told the whole story. And I don't know. It was just beautifully told, I thought, that part.
Yeah. And then like, he went to the kid's birthday party and it just gave him a realization of just like certain things. And, the story itself too, with, this proto goblin on how, he was a test subject for Norman Osborn was crazy. The instances of Uncle Ben just recently dying, how Aunt May was dealing with it. And then just also same thing, how Peter is still dealing with it. And just, there were so many moments in that comic of what made it such a really, really good comic book,
Yeah. It was really emotional when like he came home with all the bruises and stuff, and it was only like a month after Ben had died, and like he's like, "Oh, it's no big deal," and May's like, "No big deal," and she just like flies off the handle, like how could you after what happened, do that to me? It was just like so heartfelt. You could feel every ounce of that, and when a comic jumps off the page like that, and you can feel it, and you're just like, I mean, that's good writing.
Oh,
it's good art too.
100%.
Yeah. And then I thought this was a one shot, honestly. And then we get the cliffhanger with.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah. I'm like, where are they going to go with this? And then I was like, they are doing more of this.
Yeah. I was surprised. I was legit surprised with that. It's like, okay, this is cool. I don't know what this, if this is in continuity, if this is, it seemed like it was, maybe it's going to play out somewhere else soon.
It is in continuity because if you read in the book, he says, I've pieced together these memories and stuff like that, and I've come up with this story. So this is something that does take place like right when he becomes Spider-Man. That's never been told.
Yeah.
So very creative book, Again, it's just old school writer writing old school Spider-Man, and that's that's what people like. That's the way they want the character written, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Really
So,
good book.
absolutely. All right, so now let's talk about Redcoat issue 1. So,
Let's do it.
I really like this book. I'm not a history guy. Like, I'm not into like American history, Civil War, all that stuff. I remember
Yeah.
junior in high school, I hated my history teacher. She was like this old relic, right? Reminded me of the Crypt Keeper. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God. And so like I was reading this and I'm like, man, how is this gonna be good? But it was actually really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Um, about this guy, Simon Pure, who winds up being in this cult like thing in wrong place, wrong time, and he becomes immoral. And now he's got to figure out his life from this point forward. And he's like a mercenary. He does things, he murders people and he gets killed and he's got buried, he's got to get out. He's buried alive and just all kinds of crazy stuff. It's fun. It was a
Yeah.
fun book.
I thought it was fun too. I was pleasantly surprised by it as well. The only thing I didn't like was that we had already gotten like the gist of everything that happened in this issue from that preview book, so there wasn't a whole lot added onto it. I mean, there was like more parts to it, more like further down the line and everything like that. But I was hoping for like, okay, let's see where this goes from that point. You know what I mean? I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say, but um, I just wanted a little bit more out of this first issue that kind of expanded on what was going on in that preview. But I didn't feel like I got enough. So
Gotcha.
but I like the character. I like the concept behind the character, and that we're not like in present day, that we're seeing like all this stuff in the 1800s and all that stuff. It's interesting, and seeing him still going around with the red coat on in like the in America. It's like maybe you want to change your wardrobe, but it would kind of
Right?
ruin the name
Yeah.
of the character, right?
It's like, bro, like clean your clothes, man. Like, how do those
Yeah,
clothes last 116 years? Like
right.
that's how long he's been alive. So I
Yeah,
found that a little bit weird, but hey, is his clothes immortal too? Like, I don't know.
maybe. Who knows? Or
So
he's
we'll
got a
see.
tailor on standby. It's like a family of tailors.
So it's good. I liked it. All right. So then let's move on to our number 4. What was your number 4 this week?
Mine was Sensational She-Hulk issue 7.
So I liked it. It was all right. I just felt like I was kind of hoping for something a little bit different with these 3 characters. I wasn't expecting She-Hulk and I forget how to say her name. Gaidelin? Is that, I don't know. But
Ganymede, something like that.
something like that. I didn't expect for her to get hired to for this guy and then
Yeah,
them battle each other.
right.
I
That's
thought there was
kind of
gonna
what I liked. Yeah,
I would have loved it to be this love triangle instead of something like that. Or maybe these 3 go on like some kind of adventure together or something like that,
yeah,
you know?
gotcha. Yeah, at the same time, I think we still do have the love triangle, because obviously there's that whole history between Jack and her, and then obviously you've got Jack and She-Hulk, but with and it's going to be interesting though, because Jack's going to be caught in the middle. He's
Mm,
like kind of sworn his allegiance to this Ganymede character,
yeah.
and now she's attacking She-Hulk. So now, which side is he going to stand on? And it could like define where things go from here. So I guess that's what I found interesting about it. So
Yeah.
I like this issue better than last issue. I know you
Did
like
you?
last issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't love last issue, so it's kind
I
of weird that way.
I liked how like she was like just having this female moment of like almost
Yeah,
breakup where she's like, I want chicken tenders, and she's lying on the bed. And it's like,
yeah,
I thought that was kind of funny. And then,
it was.
you know, it will be interesting to see. I just feel like Jen just needs to get rid of this guy, though. Like, how many red flags are you going to have? The dude
That's true.
he can't have a normal relationship. Now he's got a girlfriend. They're on again, off again type of thing. It just isn't like Jen, just leave the dude, bro. Like, let him
Yeah,
have his little thing with this girl now and now go on your own. Find somebody
it
else. You know?
It does seem like the relationship has run its course. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
poor Jen.
So my number 4 is going to be Sacrificers, issue 7.
Okay.
So I like this issue with Saluna, I think her name is, and
Yeah.
she's basically on the run. She's weakened from what happened in the previous issue, and she's being hunted down. And we get this narration of this, I guess, was it the story that her mom told her or something like
Yeah.
that? And it was just survival. And then she gets overtaken by this black, I would say, symbiotic goo that goes inside of her. And
Yeah.
she gets pushed off a ledge, and you're led to believe that maybe she's dead. I think she
Yeah.
becomes something much more, but
Right.
it's just, you can't help when you read this book, you can't help but feel for the characters that are in it when they go
Yeah.
through some traumatic situations, and that's what I love about this book so much. So I was excited.
Yeah, it's funny. I think this might be the first issue of this book that's not in my top 5, but I did enjoy it. It wasn't quite as good as previous issues for me, and it may have been the narration that kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Right.
But I still appreciated the story, and it was still emotional, and I love this journey of this girl who was like on top of the world, fully powered, no problems at all, and now she's like at the lowest of possible lows, and seeing that fall from grace and all that stuff. It's very poetic, this story and this issue. So yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next. Like, what happens both with her and with Pigeon, and like see, because now it's like role reversal, right?
Yeah.
So he's got all the power, and I'll tell you a funny little thing. I read like the newsletters, or the what do you call them, the letter column in the back.
Yeah, the letters column in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody was saying they're tired of like messages in comics and stuff, and they were like happy to sit down and read this book and not deal with it. And I'm like, okay, I love this book, but this is totally a message about how the rich will do anything to stay rich and young. And I mean, there's messages all over this thing, but I just thought that was funny. I wanted to share that, but it was kind of funny. But
yeah, anyway. It's whatever.
It's a good
book,
though.
Yeah, it is. People are always gonna. A lot of comics, there's always messages in a comic, and you just gotta, you take it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? You can either dwell on it or just read your book.
I always feel like if a message, unless it's the purpose of the book, and you know that from going in, but if it's just like your typical story or whatever, if it's a message that serves the story and doesn't bang you over the head with, an opinion, then I'm totally good with it. Throw that stuff in there, because that's life. You get that in life every day.
It's just organic.
Yeah, exactly. If it's organic, I'm cool.
Yeah. When you can tell sometimes when a message is forced in a book, and you're just like, really?
Absolutely.
Like, it totally interrupts your story. It has nothing to do with it. And you're just like, okay, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So let's see where we're at now. So we're going to talk about, oh boy, X-Men 33.
Yep.
Okay. Like, what are we doing? Like, every issue is so completely different from the last.
Yes.
So this time you get to see the base, what happened to the underground base, right? I think that's what happened in this comic.
Is that what? I don't remember. I even looked at this right before the show, and because I couldn't remember then either, and now I can't remember again.
Yeah. And then
that's the problem with the book.
Yeah, and then it goes into a random scene where Cyclops is being like held against, Nimrod is holding him, and they come up with this city that comes from the ground that they've been building this entire time. And it's just, and the artwork was great in this book. And I just felt like
the artwork is beautiful.
Oh my God. And I felt it was like so wasted, but it's just, there's stuff all over the place in this book. And you had Dr. Doom that released his mutants out to help them out.
Yeah, That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. And then Wolverine was trying to convince the One to come join the X-Men, and yeah, all that stuff. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You're right though. It's just all over the place, and it's because it changes so much. And in this whole everything we're doing right now, there's not a lot of story being told here. It's just fight, 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 fight. You know, it's really easy to forget what's going on. Like I said, I literally forgot after I just looked at it again to remind myself.
Well, the problem
So
is like you have this Fall of X stuff that's going on, right? Okay.
yeah,
So, and the issue with it is that you could really call this an event because it is. It's an event
yeah,
that's happening through all the X books. But the
hmm
problem is there's no main book to anchor it, and
yeah.
then there's the
That should be
surrounding
this
stuff.
book.
It should be
Yeah,
this book, and it's not this book
right.
because
Yeah,
it's connected to all the other stuff that's going on as well. So, like, that's why it's like you have no idea what's going on in it because certain story threads are going on in Immortal X-Men, other things are going on in a House of X thing, and this and that, and this and that. And you're
yeah,
like, what is happening right now? So it would have been nice if like this one book goes like tells the main story and then everything else surrounds it. It's just the way this whole thing was structured is messed up.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's been kind of the problem with this main title for a long time too. That it just jumped between stories randomly. It felt randomly. I'm sure it wasn't randomly by design, but it felt randomly because you would get one issue of this, and then you get 2 issues of that, and then you revisit that 15 issues later, and then you revisit that 20 issues
Right.
after that, and it's all over the place and so hard to follow. Unfortunately,
Andrew says
it's
it's
not
not
that
that confusing.
it's hard to when you have so many X books and you're telling the same story through all of them, and you're trying to remember what happened in this one when it's all the same story. It's really hard to kind of decipher what you just read. We read a lot of books. We're
Yeah.
more than most people, I think. Right? And
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't. Maybe you read 1,000 books a week. I don't know, but I'm saying we just read so much that I read so many X books that all that information just gets jumbled in my head, and I can't keep it straight. That's
Right.
me though.
Right. Right. I can see that. I mean, I just think it could have definitely been structured better. You know,
I
I
think so too.
never
Yeah.
I never thought the Fall of X was going to last as long as it has. You
Yeah.
know, I think it was beautifully done when you had the gala and everyone got freaking murdered, right?
Yeah.
To me, that's the fall. That's the
Yeah.
fall right there. And
Yeah.
you had a few X-Men survive it, and then you had people dealing with the ramifications, like Kitty Pryde when she went out and murdered all those people, right?
Yeah.
In that one issue. And to me, that's it. That's all you need. You don't need all the other stuff that was going on.
Yeah. I think because they're trying to do the fall and the rise at the same time, it and it's overlapping. I think that's also a little confusing.
Right.
And I think one should have followed the other. And I understand that's not how things work. You know, you are trying to rise back up as you're falling back down and all that stuff, especially in a wartime kind of thing. So I get it, but at the same time, as a reader, it's just again, it's a lot to follow and a lot to keep track of. And I always have a hard time remembering what happened in the next book, and that's a problem for me. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm glad other people don't find it that confusing. And you know, I want to love these books, and I think that's the problem. That's where my passion from this comes because I love the X-Men, and I want to be like raving about every X book I read. And I'm just, I'm just ready for the next thing. When these relaunches come, I'm going to be so excited. So
Oh boy. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Well, let's talk about another new number one this week. Let's talk about Rook Exodus issue 1. Jeff Johns and was it Jason Fabok who actually
yeah,
did this one. And you know, if it wasn't for that preview issue that came out, I would have probably never checked this book out. And when I read that preview, I was like, all right, this sounds cool. And this book for me really delivered. Like, I love the
Yeah.
whole concept of the story here, and everything about it was awesome. You got right from the very first issue, you got to learn the world, you got to learn the characters in the world, you got to hear a backstory of what happened to Earth and the main character himself, and what they're going to have to do in the future, either stay or go. And just so all the elements of the story were hit here perfect. And the art, again, was absolutely beautiful. So overall, this story was really, really good.
Yeah, this was the one I was most looking forward to of the three. And I agree with you, completely delivered on every aspect of it for me. Excuse me. Um, yeah, I already knew the art was going to be gorgeous because I remember really liking Jason Fabok's art in DC. I think he
Yeah.
did some Justice League stuff.
Justice League. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I knew the art was going to be gorgeous. And like you, I read that preview story and I was like, oh, this is right up my alley. It gave me, I'll tell you, it kind of gave me not similar story, but just kind of structure. It reminded me a little bit of Noctera, just kind of the way it was structured.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I felt instantly connected to the main character. Like you said, we got all the backstory and everything, and it didn't feel like this explosion of exposition or all this stuff like jumbled up together. It didn't feel like too much, even though you got a lot out of this issue. And you get the whole thing of him trying to build a rocket to get home, and the whole story of everybody's rockets failing and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And then you get the cliffhanger with what happens to the pig guy. And
Yeah.
it was so much.
And the character designs are so awesome. Here, I'll be right back. The dryer's going off. Hold on.
Yeah, no problem.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So yeah, the character designs are phenomenal. I just every bit of this, and I even like the coloring. It's like it gives this planet like this, I don't know, this kind of dire feel that it's just like the atmosphere is just not great, like the planet is falling apart or dying or whatever. And you kind of get that in the coloring and the way the art kind of shows everything kind of dilapidated and it's just so good. And I love like there's shots of these animals like these giant bears and they explain the reason. They kind of explain the reason that the animals are so big, but they kind of leave it ambiguous. Like they say, there's a couple of theories, but we don't really know. We just know to avoid them. And then like there's this scene where like there's this pack of grizzly bears coming at them. And it's just like, oh my God, this is just, it's a good book. It's a really
good the whole animal aspect of it was just really neat, and just how they can't, how they're losing control because the earth is falling apart, and them just getting supplies and just all that little stuff in there. It's just like it's so good. I just could not wait for that next issue already. I was like, man, this is a phenomenal book, and I don't know, man. This could be one of those books where it's right up there with Transformers for me. That's how much I liked it.
Yeah, same. And I was really surprised that I liked it that much. I mean, I kind of knew I was going to like it, but I didn't know I was going to like it that much. So,
right. Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. All right. So let's talk about number 3. So what was your number 3 this week?
Mine was Deadpool. So we already talked about it.
All right. Mine was actually Void Rivals. So we talked about that one.
Nice.
Okay. So then we're going to talk about the other final Jeff Johns book this week, Geiger issue 1, a new one, new volume, as we get introduced to Geiger once again, but this time he gets a sidekick, and we find out that maybe there might be a way to cure him. And then who did the artwork in this one? It was Gary Frank. Remember. Gary Frank does the art. Yep. So I like this one too. I mean, this was really good. Not as strong for me as Rook Exodus, but still, I love the concept of this character, and I like this mission. And supposedly, there's some other glowing man that's going to be chasing after him as well as they go on this quest.
Yeah. So I picked this up. Full disclosure, I did not like the first run. I dropped it after a couple of issues. I just, for whatever reason, I could not connect to it.
Right.
I picked this one up because it's, a new volume, new Yeah, I wanted to jump in all these books and try it, give them a shot. I actually really like this one.
Oh,
I don't
good.
know what the difference was between the two, but I really like this story. We start off in that small like western town, and he's just kind of like minding his own business until he gets
Yep.
pulled into this thing. You got this knight that's following him around like a little puppy
Yeah.
wanting to, and he's got this information for him that we kind of saw in the preview thing. Yeah, I thought the story was really interesting, and the art was really good in this one as well. So yeah, I'll definitely come back for the next issue of this one, and at some point, maybe I'll even go back and catch up on the old stuff.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he has
I
a
was,
nice little flashback in this one too, like
yeah,
with his daughter and stuff like
right,
that. So that's what I
which I
like
did
about it.
remember. Yeah, yeah, I like that part, like the opening where they told that part in the first volume. I remember like that, and then after that, it was where it lost me, and I don't know why, but there was just something about it that just I don't know. But this one was better for me. So
Right. So Comic Toby says, so am I missing out by not watching X-Men 97? Did you watch any of them yet?
I've only watched the first episode. So
Still the first one?
yeah,
Yeah.
just yeah.
The what is it? The third one I think is good.
Yeah, I think you told me the third one was
Yeah,
really
third one's really good. I'll tell you this. The third one has, should I tell you?
Should you tell me?
Should I tell you?
You
Would it make you actually watch it if I told you who was in it?
maybe.
It has
Probably.
Madeline Pryor in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll
So
probably watch it then. All right.
yeah.
It's one of those, it's like I wasn't so blown away by the first episode that I was like, oh, I gotta go watch this. It was like, oh, I'll watch it when I don't have anything else. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'll check it
Second
out.
episode was better, and then the third episode for me, the third episode was the best.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
All right. So let's see. We talked about Geiger. We talked about Sensational She-Hulk. So
Yep.
then let's go to our number 2. My number 2 was the Spider-Man Shadow of the Green Goblin book. So that was my number 2. And what was yours?
Mine was Void Rivals. So neither of
Yeah.
our top number ones this week, which is interesting.
Right.
I'm guessing we've had the same number one. Now,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. We talked about Avengers. We talked about Sacrificers. So then
Yeah.
that does go to our number 1, which yes, it is Rook Exodus.
Yep.
This is by far for me the best book of the week.
Yeah.
This was like next level. And it's sad because it's like I remember a book like this being at DC Comics at one point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said, Justice League, Blackest Night. That's the stuff that you had there. And
Right.
I think I pointed this out in my video. I said this very well could have been a DC character for all you knew,
Mhm. Yeah.
So it was just so good. I can't explain how much I really enjoyed the book because it just hit on all those elements.
I'm glad it wasn't just me because I was like, oh, maybe it's just, it's just caught my attention. And I'm just like somebody out here alone. And it's cool that you liked it as well as I did because it's like, okay, that's validation for my fandom with this book. So,
I know.
cool.
Well, I just like how, sometimes in a comic, when you get a new number 1, you get introduced to an overwhelming amount of characters and you're just like, who's this guy? Who's that guy? We're in this weird world. What's the name of this planet? What's that? And you're just like all that. And so, yes, you are on a different world. You do have other characters, but you're nowhere near do you ever feel overwhelmed on anything that goes on in this comic book. You just learn about this one guy. You learn about his sidekick Swine, and you find out why he gets to this Earth or this new planet. And it's just very simplistic storytelling with gorgeous artwork, but yet it does unravel. Like there's a lot of things going on at the same time, but the way the story is told, it just never overwhelms the reader.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Good.
All 3 of those. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say all 3 Ghost Machine books were in my top 10 this week.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
All 3 are
Yeah.
great. I would definitely recommend them all
Yeah.
for people out there to check out. And it really is good to be an indie creator right now. It really is, because you can see, as the years go on, I feel like the quality of these indie books are getting better and better, um, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Exactly. A lot of Rook love in the comments as well, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait until we come across all these other like farmers or scavengers, because you got the wolf one, you got that
Yeah.
pig one, you got the bear one, you got all of them there.
Yeah.
So they're all left
Me
behind.
too.
What a bunch of assholes to leave them behind
Right?
too.
Yeah.
Like, where
That's
did they
crazy.
go? Where'd they all go to?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, did they try to go back to Earth, or did they go? They have another planet ready?
Right? I mean, he
Yeah,
said he wants to go to Earth. Like, why do you want to go back to Earth? That place is probably a bunch of shit right now.
yeah, yeah,
So I don't know. That would be interesting though if he does go back there and then you see what Earth is like.
yeah, yeah. Do you know if like these are connected in any way, or are they just like under the same label? I don't remember if they said anything
Mm,
about it.
well, they are connected, but their time frames are much
Right,
different.
right,
Because if you
exactly.
remember, like if you look at that timeline at the back of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the book.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's true.
all right, cool. So now let's go to I'll pass it to you and we'll go to our most anticipated.
Yeah, let's do it. Click over to that screen. All right. So we've only got one the same because, why not? Good to talk about more books this way. Um, but we'll start with Green Lantern number 10, because that almost made my list as well.
Yeah.
He's heading back to Oa. He finally got off the planet and he's heading back to Oa, figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know
your number
what's
three,
going
buddy.
on, right? I mean, it's just
Right.
like, so if there's a Green Lantern battery on Earth, is there no Green Lantern battery on Oa now?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, they were going around destroying all the batteries, so maybe they already destroyed
Maybe it's
those. I don't
destroyed?
remember.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Um, it's weird for me, but I'll guess we'll find out. But I'm excited. I love that last issue. I love how the 2814 Guardians are going to be the protectors now of that
Yeah.
Green Lantern battery. They're like the new Guardians. And
Yeah.
that's awesome to me. I cannot wait to see the development of this comic.
Yeah, me too. It's been really good so far. And now that he can actually go into space and everything, I'm really curious. And like I said, we've talked about this a few times now, that this is very reminiscent of like the Blackest Night stuff, where they're
Yes.
doing something completely different with the rings that we've never seen before. So, yeah, I'm really curious to see how that plays out.
Oh,
My
here's
number. Go ahead.
sorry. Here's
Yeah.
the
No.
answer. They said it was the backup battery.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So that one might get destroyed then on Oa, and then this does become that backup.
Yeah. Which would it'd be interesting if like Earth becomes the new Oa, right? Like it's the like new headquarters for the Green Lantern Corps. That would be interesting.
Yeah,
About to see.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So my number 3 is Uncanny Valley, issue number 1. This is, I think it's Boom, if I'm not mistaken. This is a Tony Fleecs book, who does Stray Dogs and Feral. So I thought it was a pretty interesting concept. It's about this kid who has these abilities that something cartoonish. Like there's this like Yosemite Sam kind of character, this Ryu from Street Fighter character that I guess pop out from his imagination or something. It's like weird. But,
I don't remember
because
I don't remember if I'm getting this book or not. I can't.
okay,
It sounds familiar though.
yeah, I mean, I saw his name. I'm like, oh, I hadn't heard about it before that, so I'm like, okay, I got to check this out. So it looked interesting to me. So we'll see.
Gotcha.
All right, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, issue number 5. You're number 2. You've been raving about this book since issue 1, and yeah,
Yep, and you should get it.
Yeah, at this point, I think I should just get the trade.
And
Yeah.
there's no excuse because there's second printings out on the shelf.
There you go. There you
So
go.
because I
All
wound
right.
up getting the second printing of issue 1, the second printing of issue 2 and 3 last week.
Nice. Okay.
So
Okay.
it's definitely out there. And then 4, I think, most recently came out. So
yeah.
And then we're getting 5. Yeah, it's just a freaking good book, man. Just like I am not gonna say anything because I don't want to spoil it. It's just a phenomenal like thriller suspense book. And people compare it to like Bear Sting Bears. It's like Bear Sting Bears, but it's a murder book. It's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds right up my alley, and I should know by now to trust you. Like, something is killing the children. It was just like something I avoided, and then I finally gave in. I'm like, oh man, Mike's been telling me about this. I should have just listened.
Yeah, and you've had a chance to catch up and you haven't yet, and it's been on a break. It's coming back too. I don't.
Oh, is it?
I'm trying to remember when it's coming back. Yeah, it's very soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to catch up because I definitely want to get current with that one.
Something is killing the children is a pretty quick read. So like you should have no trouble like banging out issues, you know?
Right. Yeah. I'll have to just like grab that trade, the second trade, and go from there. All right. So my next one is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers: The Return, issue 3. Something we're all enjoying. I think you're still reading it, right, Mike?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Really good book.
Yeah. So more emotional than I expected from this story in particular.
Right.
Because this one is literally continuing off the TV show. And but it's just it's 20 years in the future or whatever it is, and it's been a really good book so far. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
So now the person that said that was what's her face's cousin, Trini's cousin, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it the daughter of Frieza?
Rita Repulsa. Yeah. I believe so. Yeah.
Because she had the staff, right?
Yeah. So she was pretending to be related to Trini when she was really related to Rita. Yeah.
Right.
So that was a twist. Yeah. I didn't see coming either. So that was So Kimberly's gonna have to, go back on her word and become a Power Ranger again.
She's gonna die. What's gonna happen, man? She's got to survive.
Yep. So that's gonna be fun to watch. So yeah, it's good, man. I'm telling you, Power Ranger stuff at Boom, everything they're doing with that franchise is it's so good. I can't say enough good things about it. All right, so our last book, because both our number ones, obviously Transformers issue number 7, the start of the brand new arc. And the tagline for this issue is "Who will lead the Decepticons?" We got this battle between Starscream and Soundwave to figure out who's going to lead.
Oh my god!
It's gonna be fun. But it's the new artist that's taking over with this
Jorge Corona.
Is it? Yeah.
So we'll have to see. Love in the Dark is there. So, I saw preview pages of this book, like. I didn't study it because I didn't want to get spoiled on the book.
Right.
But obviously the coloring is the same. So you get that same vibe because the coloring is the same. And I will say that it looks pretty good. So I don't think we'll be disappointed.
Okay.
I
mean, Johnson's still writing it. Daniel Warren Johnson still writing it. So we're definitely going to get the same storytelling.
Right. You see how like Daniel Warren Johnson has that own distinct feel.
Yeah.
But I think what Jorge Corona does is he makes it a little more polished, Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So hopefully it's a positive change and not, doesn't take us out of the story at all.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's the story that we love, of course, the most. And my gosh, if Soundwave dies, I am going to be so upset.
Soundwave better not die. He's like Silent Smurf said, Soundwave was one of my favorites when I was younger. I think Soundwave was one of everybody's favorites.
Just because of what he could do.
Exactly. And it's like the time, it was the 80s, boom boxes. It was just cool, and Ravage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laserbeak. All those were just cool.
And his voice was always cool. Mm-hmm. And he was always so loyal to Megatron. Like, and that's the thing. So like, man, it would be cool if they did through that twist and Starscream dies because of him. That would be sick. Like, we've never seen Soundwave, rule the Decepticons before. That would be quite an interesting twist.
Yeah, that would be fun. Like, we've seen Starscream lead them before. We've seen Shockwave, I think, be it like a leader or a second in command.
Right.
Obviously, Megatron, Galvatron. Oh, looks like we got a super chat. Did you hear, Don Gustavo, did you hear about the earthquake that rocked MIC? It sounds like it was shaking all day long. I know one of your cast members lives around there. Yeah, Kat lives in New York. I did hear about it.
It was in Jersey.
I can't remember exactly where she lives, but our former castmate Chris also lives in NYC. So I did hear about it. As far as I know, they're okay. Kat's actually not there right now. I think she's out. She's away at a con or something.
Yeah, I think it was. She lives in Staten Island. I think it is.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you for the concern, though. Appreciate that, and appreciate you bringing it to our attention. I hope there were. I don't know. I'll have to look into it and see what the damage was. But
I don't think there was any.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good then. That's good.
So going back to Transformers, what were we saying? I totally forgot.
Starscream, Soundwave, all that stuff.
Yeah, I know we were talking leaders. About that.
We're talking about the different leaders and
we're talking about the leaders and oh god dang it, I totally forgot. I know I wanted to say something about that, but yeah, I mean, the whole what can power the Transformers.
Oh, the Matrix.
Humans can be a huge power source for them, and that might not be such a good thing.
Not if the Decepticons find out it's not. Oh my goodness. Oh, that would be terrible.
Imagine what they'll do. They'll just take the humans and squish them and use them as energon cubes or whatever.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Oh man, I can't imagine. That would turn, like, this is already kind of a dark book, with the squishies and all that stuff. Yeah. But man, if they find out they can use them for energy.
And then I want to see the continuation, the development of the relationship with Cliffjumper and Carly, because Cliffjumper didn't pull the trigger. And she wanted revenge because of what happened to her father, you know, and she blamed Starscream. And now is she going to hold a grudge against, Cliff because of, what he couldn't do,
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
Silent Smurf says, hope they introduce new Transformers at some point. They have started to here and there. I think they're going really slow. They're wanting us to get familiar with the ones on screen, not overwhelm it like other versions of the comic have. And I think the explanation behind it is solid too. Like, they don't have all the parts or the wherewithal to power them up and the energon to keep them alive and all this stuff. So it makes sense. And there was one issue where Starscream was ravaging parts from others to bring back more desirable Decepticons that would be more loyal to him and all that stuff.
I mean, we got introduced to Devastator in the last series, so
exactly.
In the last volume, it doesn't get really any better than that. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, so I'm sure I'm going to be curious to see who we do get. Like, are we going to get Ultra Magnus or the aerial bots or the whatever, the
Bots, yeah.
Dinobots. I don't know. I'm just throwing whatever comes to mind now. But it'll be interesting to see what we do get.
We need Blaster in there, so Blaster and
Yeah, well, of
Soundwave
course.
can fight.
Yeah,
that would be
absolutely.
funny. Are we gonna get Perceptor? There's
We get
so
the
many.
Stunticons.
We've had the Stunticons. We've had a few of them in there. We've had like Wheeljack made his appearance in here at one point. Reflector was in here and he got obliterated. So like there is some little cameos that you see briefly,
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's so funny to hear all these different guys. Right. What's the dude that turned into like the hovercraft? Remember him? And he would talk like you remember that guy?
Yeah, I don't remember what his name was, but yeah, I totally remember him. It's probably the same dude that did Merman on He-Man.
Yeah, it probably was. There's so many different Transformers. It's so funny, man. They got crazy. They got the ones that like you pulled them back and they would roll and they would jump and do a flip and land on their feet.
I had a few of those.
Yeah. What was your favorite Transformer that you owned?
I didn't. It's funny. I didn't own a lot of Transformers. I had I was the G.I. Joe kid. I had all the G.I. Joes and I had masked figures. And then like my friend had like Transformers and we both had He-Man. And so it was like this thing we would just kind of trade off. And so I never got a whole lot of Transformer figures. I did get a whole bunch of the Beast Wars ones for my brother, though.
Oh, okay.
And then when they started re-releasing some, so one of the favorite ones I got from him was what is his name? The one that turns into a cheetah from Beast Wars.
Cheetor.
Cheetor. Yeah. So that was cool. And I got him a couple of versions of that one, and like the big dragon that Megatron was. Or not dragon, dinosaur, whatever he was, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah,
that one was cool. As far as the aerial bots, I had a friend that had all the aerial bots and perform at the Superion. That was really cool. I love that. Was it? Yeah,
I had Devastator, but I was missing an arm.
Did you?
I think, yeah. I was like, I had everyone except the arm, and I was like, oh well, he got blown off. That was my. That was my thing. I was like, oh, he died, but they still conformed Devastator.
I only have one or two of the Constructicons. I was so upset. I could never get them all.
The size on Transformers was so bad, though, the scaling, because you would have Devastator, who's like this tall, and then I had Jetfire, who was like that tall. And it just didn't make sense,
Right. And like Blaster was huge too. It's like no way he's going to be bigger than these combiners. Come on.
Yeah, and then you had the little Transformers that were like they were like this big, like Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper and the Sea Guy, and they were all that big.
Yeah, we got another super chat here. Don Gustavo, what is the most you would pay for a very fine copy of Marvel's Transformers #1 from 1987?
I want that comic book. I do not own it. I own two.
I don't either.
I don't own one, and I've been wanting it for quite a while now, and I don't see too many copies that pop up around locally. I don't even know what it's really going for right now, so I couldn't even tell you. You know?
I was trying to look it up and see if I could figure out what it's going for. No, that's all G.I. Joe Transformers. If anybody in the comments knows what it's going for, let us know, because we don't know.
I can look up.
Oh, wait, I found one on eBay.
Oh, okay.
Man, there's one on eBay. It's going for $12.74.
How much?
Oh, no, that's issue 31. Never mind. I was about to say, that can't be right.
Oh, I'm going to look it up real quick. I'm going to look at Key Collector and see what a high-grade copy goes for.
Looks like $95 on eBay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's the first one that came up. $50. So that's not too bad.
Let me see what this one says. So a low grade is like 20, mid is 80, high is 200.
200.
So yeah, I mean, this thing is it's got first appearance of everybody. It's like
Yeah.
first appearance of Autobots, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Prowl, Ironhide, Huffer, Cliffjumper, Sideswipe, Hound, Gears, Brawn, Sunstreaker, Blue Streak, Windcharger. Windcharger, is that the guy's name? No, it can't be. Ratchet, Wheeljack, Trailbreaker, Mirage. My God. Jeez, that's great. But I want that book so bad. I really want it bad.
Sea Spray, is that his name?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. That's what, yeah, I think that's what it's, I think that's the one, yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, but the scale on Transformers were weird. Thank you, Don, for that super chat too.
Yeah, I don't know what I would pay for that though. I'm not a big like dish out a lot of money for for comics. I can't. I just can't.
I am.
I don't know.
So,
I don't know. It would be like one of those in the moment. Do I, I had the opportunity. Do I really want this kind of thing?
right.
I really couldn't answer that. I really don't know. 200 sounds like a good like cap off point though.
If the price was right, for sure, I would buy it.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's not even a good copy, like
Just to
I
have
would
it,
probably still buy it just to have it.
yeah.
There's books in my collection where I'm like, it's not the greatest condition, but I'll buy it to have it because I want it.
Yeah, exactly.
So like last week, I have this book already, but I bought another copy. I bought the first appearance of Mr. Sinister, and they had a copy at my shop for $10. And it wasn't it wasn't the best shape, but I was like, why not get another one?
Yeah. So I don't know. But
all right. Well, I
that was
guess
a fun
that's
discussion on Transformers. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll finish it up on there, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, guys, that's all we have for you tonight. Tevi is going to bed. Guess what, Tevi? I'm going to bed too. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the comments. We plan on having Kat back next week. We plan on being back next week, guys. So, as always, make sure you follow us over on Comic Book Corner 2.0 and, of course, on Comic Book Weekly. Make sure you subscribe to the channels. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. Follow us on social media. Do all that stuff, guys. And remember, it's New Comic Book Day, so have fun going to your shop, finding all those books, and maybe you might get a Transformers issue 1. So, guys, with that being said, have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you all real soon. Take care, guys. Good night.
Bye.